following is a presentation of WLCN 96.3 FM and WLCNonline.com.
Good morning, sports fans. Welcome to the Cheap Seats on WLCN 96.3 FM. Listen to us on the go. Download that Mixlr app or watch us live on YouTube. Scott Kirby, Jake Johnston, Jim Ash, Lloyd Kirby here with you this morning. Don't know where Joe went. And we are in the quad.
We're in the quad.
We're in the quad. It's a chilly day, Saturday morning day here in the quad, the last Saturday in April, and it's cold.
It's not that bad.
Oh, really? Well, here comes, it's mid-December here. Joe's dressed for it.
He's got like 3 layers on, 2 sweatshirts.
Yeah, and some very bright gloves. Good morning, Joe.
He's ready.
Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, guys. And I'm not as heavy as you two. I'm a little more in shape, a little more fit, smaller waist size, around a 28, a 29. So I get a little colder than you guys.
Well, okay. And
you wore shorts.
I wore shorts.
Being a tough guy.
Well, I didn't think we were really going to be outside, but
I believe
you know Jim.
You know what? And I
He did say the quad.
I wasn't going to say this.
Plus,
I wasn't going to say this.
Say it.
But Jim did say to me, you know what? I'm tired of those guys messing with me. They're smart alecks, and let's go outside and teach them a lesson. So I said, okay.
well, and another thing is, I walked through your office there, and we've lost our space.
Yeah.
So what are you doing?
I had.
Tell us.
Well, you just had some things going on. I tell you what, quit playing with your little phone.
Snapchat.
He's a snapper.
He's a Snapchat.
Hey, chat me, would you? Tell you what, he's like want to have one of the kids on here.
But he's feeling very patriotic today.
Yes, he is.
And there's no N on that.
Look at the size of his
Where's
muscles.
the N? No, Nebraska.
There's Nebraska today. It's
No,
No Nebraska?
not right now.
it's 1776 day.
1776.
We do have a guest coming on later, Scott Turner. He's going to come on and talk to us. What's he talking about, Joe?
Scotty Boy is going to come in and talk to us about the cleanup project he ran last weekend in Lincoln. Going to tell us all about it. And if you know him, then you already know he's a character. So get ready, because he's got some character to him.
Well, we love character because there's a lack of that here.
We need a little bit of fun on this show,
and hopefully
Scotty's going to bring it.
Hopefully some knowledge, because knowledge is scarce here.
Ooh, that was hot.
Oh yeah.
Hot, Mike.
It's snowing here at the quad.
It's pretty cold here.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Hey, Tony Thomas and the IC Cougars are taking on the Hardham Stags at Dozer Park today.
Really?
At 10 a.m. in Peoria. J-Mac's wanting a road trip. He's got tickets to get
He's
in.
got tickets.
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 So it could be a chilly one over there at Dozer Park, but that's exciting playing over on that field.
Oh, it's going to
Very
warm
cool.
up.
Yeah,
It's
those
gonna warm-
Kids
yeah.
love that.
Yeah, hope so.
Yeah, J-Mac, he's going up.
Is he going?
He'll go for sure. Yeah, that J-Mac.
Yeah, he's probably right down the road from him.
He's probably just getting out of a workout. If you get a chance, J-Mac, shoot us a double buy shot of yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Nobody knows what you
Because-
mean.
Yeah.
Lloyd's going to put it up online. Well, the weightlifters know. You give them, shoot a double buy.
You got any more of those gloves?
Making fun of him just a second ago, huh?
I can't believe that you popped out like that.
Or pants? You got any extra pants?
Everyone should have it. You guys don't ride around with an extra pair of sweatpants in your car.
It is snowing. Is that what you said? Was that in the forecast this morning? Did you mention snow on your little weather update? Oh my gosh, it is snowing. It snowed. Was it last weekend it snowed too on Saturday? Yeah.
This weather report brought to you by Jake's Furnishings at 1100 Woodlawn Road. Make it your own.
Yeah, because we don't know.
Jack.
Yeah.
These ordered pods for each of you.
Yeah.
I've got the pod.
You gonna bust out some pods?
Is that, you have that pod with you? You can show it off.
I'll go grab those pods out. They're in the garage.
What made you guys think it was nice out?
We didn't have softball.
Well,
today.
it's almost May. It was really nice out
You
yesterday.
two little girls can't get out of your phones, and neither one of you knew that it was going to be cold.
I knew it was going to be chilly.
Well,
I broke out the golf cart today.
Oh, you did get
Yeah.
you got it back?
Yeah, got it back.
Nice.
I kind of stole it, but it's mine, so I don't feel like that's actually stealing.
Well, no. If you just take some back, that's what OJ said. These are mine. He went to get it. They put him in jail for it. You do what you want to, though, Jake.
Yeah.
Yeah, but his history wasn't real good, so that probably.
Yeah, but that stuff was his.
Yeah, well.
I mean,
At one
fair's
point,
fair.
at one point,
Yeah. Wonder what the Juice is doing today. That's somebody we haven't talked about in a long
right,
time.
playing some golf there, Joseph.
You think he's wearing gloves?
If they don't
You know,
fit,
that was funny from you. You think
You
he's
must have
wearing
quit.
gloves. That's pretty funny.
if they don't fit, you must have quit.
Tell you what,
Is that Mike Tyson over there?
Still my best.
that's the lawyer. What was his name? Johnny.
Mike Tyson.
Yeah, OJ. How old's that guy got to be? You'd think we'd have a.
He's got to
You know
be.
what this show's about?
You'd think he'd have his own. I don't have any. It's a Seinfeld
show about nothing.
It's a show about
This is a
crap.
Seinfeld show.
It's a show about.
People love that. They love talking about the draft and that stuff, but they don't want us to talk about it.
We're hoping that people walk by and we get them on the show, but we got back here.
There is nobody walking
no one's
back
walking
here.
by.
No, they're all
It's too
bundled
cold.
up under by the fireplace today.
We're planning on you guys entertaining us.
And Nick Izzardo bringing us a pizza.
Oh,
Nicky, you in there?
that would be clutch, Nick.
Nick, if you're in there, we're waiting for that door to open.
You know, if
Just to get some of that heat.
Yeah, bring the heat.
if Nicky were here, he could tell us all about his trip to Wrigley Field. He took the train over.
Oh, that
To Wrigley Field.
That couldn't have been good.
Oh, I think he had a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a chat. He's a Snapchat guy.
The Coup, they're playing decent ball right now too.
They are?
Yeah, they're right there in the thick of things.
Hey, we got a
know,
follower,
Central.
a good listener, our buddy Dante. Milkshake is tuning into the cheap seats. We met Milkshake over at Charleston back at the Railer game, and boy, he's a sports fanatic.
Nice.
Is he
Milkshake.
tuning in?
Yeah,
There was a guy at Wrigley Field they called Milkshake. He was always in the bleachers.
that was Johnny Woo Woo.
I remember Johnny Woo.
Johnny Woo Woo.
Yeah.
But you guys been watching any of the draft?
I have.
In and out of it.
Yeah, I've been focused on it.
Caught some highlights, I guess.
Now, you don't even watch football, but you watch the draft?
The draft is interesting to me. You're taking kids and you're throwing them into an industry in which they'll be making millions, and just to see how they kind of things change, people fall to the next round that they're expecting to go higher. It's always been interesting to me.
Do you think it's pretty bright in there where they're doing that? Was that during the day or was it at night, the draft?
It was at night.
No, yeah,
I just wondered.
It's all outside.
Seemed to be a lot of people in sunglasses.
yeah. That as well.
Didn't know if
It's all about looking.
I know
I
they've
tell
got
you
a
what,
bright
though,
future.
let me say this. I feel, and maybe I'm going to be completely wrong on this, it seems like this year's draft class is very strong. Like, there's some really good talent. I mean, I know every year there's good talent. It just seems like this year it's pretty heavy. You can go in a lot of different positions. You're not just looking. I mean, there's a lot of drafts you're thinking, well, this is a defense draft. There's some you think, oh, you got a lot of quarterbacks or whatnot, or quarterbacks, or whatever. This year, it's really well rounded. There's some running backs that win in the first round. I mean, that hasn't happened in a couple of years. I mean, I think it's just been a good year.
Yeah, and you look down through the draft. Obviously, Bryce Young going first because of the Bears. The trade for Carolina, and the shock in the draft, I would have to say, is there was a 0.01% chance that Will Levis was not going to go in the first round, and he got bumped all the way down to the second pick in the second round. A steal.
Did you see
a steal for the Titans?
I think it was a steal for the Titans. And did you see the people around him all night? I don't know if you noticed that or not.
Oh yeah,
It was interesting.
There's a lot of people around at those things
Yeah.
that are interesting.
The people around him
Joe.
specifically.
Great insight, buddy. Hey,
Well,
let's get to some real knowledge.
Well,
now.
no, I was going to say, I don't know. Let's go to a break and
Okay.
let Scotty settle in.
Yeah,
and then
let's
we're gonna
get him
talk to
his,
Scotty Turner. He's going
yeah.
to tell us all about the city cleanup.
All right.
Morning, guys. How is everybody?
We're good. We're going to take a
Good.
commercial break. We'll get all set up here, and we'll be back on the cheap seats, WLCN 96.3 FM.
Touchdown! Oh, did you see that? Whoa, we scored?
Yeah, we scored. We're going to the playoffs.
I can't believe I missed that.
Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone. What? I should take your phone away. No. I'll call for a ride. Hey, why does my face look like that?
I'm playing with these new face filters.
Okay, you know what?
Yep, that's mine.
I'm gonna need that back.
No.
Kevin!
This is Greg Murphy from the Phillies broadcast team, and you're listening to Cheap Seats on 96.3 FM WLCN.
Back to the cheap
Can't say
seats.
joint on the radio. Okay.
Where are you? What's wrong with you? Cold.
Welcome back to the Quad. It's mid-December here today, and joining us now is Scott.
It's cold.
Yeah, Scott Turner. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How is everybody?
We're doing good. Boy, you got some.
cold.
We got some things to
it's
talk
cold.
about out in the community last Saturday. A little community cleanup, which is a great thing for the community. You know, you walk by places and just trash, garbage, and just trying to make Lincoln beautiful and it's not unnoticed, and there's probably a lot of hard work behind the scenes that we're going to get into. And just tell us a little about how this is what, third year?
This is the third time.
year, third time.
So what I do is, it goes back to 2018. My kids and I, my two sons and I, decided to just do a vacation, just us three, because they were all of age, they were all 21 and older. So I was like, hey, how about us three just go on vacation? So we decided to go out to Colorado, and and it was just a long weekend. But one of the things that I noticed when I got out there was, we're driving in and the highways are clean. We're in the city, and it's just like, man. And I looked at Bentley, my son. I said, man, there's no garbage on the street, nowhere, And it wasn't like the garbage cans were overflowing or nothing like. It was just, it really struck me, So I get home, and I'm driving, because I, was working for AAA at the time, and I drive 250 miles a day. So I'm in my car all the time. So now my eye is starting to get attracted to this garbage that's laying in the highways. The garbage and then I started looking in Lincoln, and I'm like, man, this is terrible. Somebody's gonna have to get in there and clean that up, right? And then I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just post something on Facebook and see if I can get 3 or 4 of my buddies, and we'll just go for one day and just do it. Well, next thing you know, I got 50 people, in an 8-hour period say, hey, we'll do it. So one of my son's friends, Jacob, he bought a brand new video recorder, and that's what he wants to do. That's what he does now, but he wanted to put together some kind of project. So he comes to me and he says, hey, let's put together a project. I don't care what it is. I want to be behind the scenes, and I want you to be the face of it.
Throw his name out there, Jacob.
Can I? Jacob Tyler?
He's a good boy.
Good kid. Works for Seth Goodman. Does his media.
He's excellent with the camera.
He's excellent.
Yeah, he is.
Excellent. But he's just a great guy. And so that's kind of how it started. So he's doing the videography, and we really ham it up. It was kind of fun. We went to the city council, got approval, which I didn't know if we needed to, but we recorded it. We went and we recorded all the garbage, and we recorded, the day of, and this is the first year. And I'm telling you, we got over 200 bags of garbage. We filled a dumpster and then overfilled it. So I was really happy with it. I thought it was going to be a one and done type of deal. And then COVID hit. There was, nothing could be done with COVID. And so people were like itching. The next year, we done it 2021, I believe. And it was one of those things where people were like, hey, are you going to do it? Are you going to do it? Are you going to do it? And I'm like, sure, why not? So we did it. Again, got 200 bags of garbage off the streets. We had 150 volunteers. And it was starting to snowball into something bigger than I ever thought it was going to be, And then you get this year, Jesus himself came down and said it's going to be cold. We're going to throw a little snow on there at you. We're going to throw some rain at you.
See what you can take.
And don't wear shorts for love of pizza. And
no, I didn't get that memo.
Oh, it was terrible. It was. I had about 50 volunteers. I had about 150. Sign up and say, hey, I'll do it. but I had about 50 actually roll out of bed, look out the window, and go, "Oh, let's go do that. Let's go pick up garbage." I mean, it's not an attractive thing anyway. It's like one of the worst things you could ever want to do, but it's at the end of the day, it makes our town look better. Anybody that volunteers, not just for the cleanup, but for anything, you always feel better when you volunteer. I always do. I love volunteering for stuff, but when I get in my car and I'm going home, I'm thinking, all right, what did I just do? That's something good, know. And that's kind of what the cleanup's all about, really, is I make sure everyone has a name tag to where, I don't know if you guys are like this, but I can't remember names for nothing. And if I introduce myself, 2 seconds later, I'm like, what's that guy's name? So I make sure everybody wears a name tag. We had 4 different buses this year. I try to put, this was a cool thing. We had a group from the high school. There was 10 from the Honor Society. So these are young kids. So to me, we're touching that generation. My dad's 83 years old. My mom, same in that age. We had that age group. My Uncle Mick was out there. My brother, it's kind of a Turner thing. I've forced them, whether they like it or not. They kind of have to do something. So it's kind of fun.
How'd you organize where everybody went and what you did?
Great question. So the first year, I want to say the tourism department, they have these great maps, right? And she just gave me a book of them. And it's a map of the city, and then you flip it over, it's a map of the county. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. So I just kind of looked. Jake and I took a drive around, Logan County, and I really wanted to just concentrate in Lincoln, right? Steak and Shake was terrible. Route 10 was terrible. Hell, they got 18 bags of garbage from Chester, East Lincoln to Silco.
Oh, wow.
Or Ameren. 18 bags.
That's not a very big span, right?
And when you look in those ditches, you would never know there's that much garbage in there. But that was this year. Just that group over there, But I try and pick an area that if you're coming from out of town, what's the first thing you're going to see when you drive into Lincoln? The thing I don't want you to see is our streets are littered with garbage, because what's that say about Lincoln? It says that we really don't care about our town. We just let it happen. That's my opinion. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that that's the opinion. I'm saying that's my opinion of what's the first impression.
Sure.
What's going to happen, though, with those people? It's happening right now in 223. We're getting new businesses in Lincoln, and I'm hoping that the streets being clean makes a difference.
Yeah.
What do you find the most of in these ditches? Fast food?
Oh, it's fast food wrap. The styrofoam cups that you get for drinking. We found a tire. The first year we found, a Jeep, a CJ5 Jeep, a whole top. I'm like, who throws that away? You know what I mean?
But and is it just from people throwing it out the window? Like, I've eaten, I'm done.
Here's what I think. I think that there's some of that going on. Go back to 218, I think there was more of it going on than there is now, because in just a 6-year span, this year, the weather made a difference, but I also think the streets are cleaner. We picked up 18 bags of garbage, but we only picked up probably 100 bags this year versus 200 in the years past. And
it's easier to throw something out if something's already laying there.
I think a lot of it blows. Because a lot of the fence lines on Stringer Avenue, that's a fence line issue. You know what I mean? To where that garbage is not being thrown so much as it's just there from blowing out of garbage cans and stuff like that. I think that there's some of that going on. I think that there's always going to be people that throw garbage away. You know what I mean? Or throw out their window that they just don't care. And but you know what? If we're in a car with somebody and they do that, make them stop and go back and get it. Yeah. They'll never do it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it makes you aware. And that's the main thing, is just if we can make more people aware that it makes a difference. You know, like over by my house, I live out the lakes, and the viaduct, there's always, I don't know why, but that place is just like a magnet for people just tossing their can. You know? So we clean that up. Joe, who's in charge of the tiny homes for veterans, you know, he requested that we clean up First Street in College, which is right there by that viaduct. That was really bad. But when you go by there now, you're like, oh, that really was kind of bad. It looks better. You know what I mean? That's what matters, is if things get better.
So you get these volunteers, and you get you set a time, and then you've been getting together at the park over here, right?
That's my favorite park.
Yeah.
I picked that park because it's my favorite park, and I used it the first time, and I'm a consistency guy. If I do it the same way every time, you know what I mean, then that's just how
It's easier that way.
It's easier, and let me tell you, this time versus the first time, you know, it was a lot easier organizing it. I mean, it's never. So what I try to do, other than you, Joe, is I try to go to different sponsors every time. So I don't, like, I'll use Chris Coyne. Chris was my sponsor as far as an insurance agent the first year. You know, the second year it was Joe. You know, I didn't use Joe as an insurance agent this time, but I used him for Mellow Cream. You know, next time it'll be, you know, whatever hotel he owns, because you know Joe's going to own one.
Or whichever one I'm living.
Or, yeah, whatever he's doing. You know what I mean?
Come by and see me.
We're gonna have him as a sponsor, that's for sure.
Let's talk about your sponsors then.
Okay.
Once you get all this together, because I know you brought some info in on them. And this,
Well,
I don't know what time it is. Should we take a break, or are we going to come back and talk about sponsors?
Well, let's see. Yeah, let's take a quick break. We'll get some of our sponsors recognized.
There we go.
And then we'll go in.
come back.
It's a pretty nice segue.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's take a commercial break. We come back, we'll have more here on the Cheap Seats, WLCN 96.3 FM.
Donating pet food can keep families together. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart, and so they need you to stand with them.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. So if you want to talk to your kids, you got to get it trending. I was just trying to get your attention.
Could I just ask?
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
This is former WAND sports director and humongous Lincoln Railer fan Gordon Voigt, and you're listening to Cheap Seats with Joe, Jake, Jim, Lloyd, and Shabadoo on 96.3 FM WLCN.
Radio show host. That's what I'm not. Welcome back to the Cheap Seats. No, I got hypothermia setting in. Welcome back to the Cheap Seats, WLCN 96.3 FM. We are in the quad, and still with us, Mr. Scott Turner, and we're going to go over some of these the sponsors that are so graciously stepping up and helping you out with this project. And we talked a little bit about off air about some of the houses around Lincoln, they're getting depleted and maybe need tore down. I know that's a whole process and a lot of legal and stuff like that, but making this thing kind of expand, getting bigger, and just making the community look respectable and enjoyable. So people go out for walks and they can enjoy the community, and things can happen, but it's not going to happen unless you have some of these fine sponsors that we're going to talk about.
Well, one thing that we'll talk about the community gardening here in a second, because I think that'd be a great project to take on, because the city does have some houses that they purchased that they're tearing down, and that land's going to become available, and it's just in the middle of a neighborhood. If we could put some dirt down and the raised boxes and just have they have butterfly gardens. I mean, there's a lot of gardens that you can put out there. But you know what? I think that promotes also community to where if Joe's down at the Garden and I go down there, guess what we're going to do? We're going to talk. You know what I mean? And we're going to share ideas, and we're going to do, and that's kind of what happens with the spring cleanup, I hope. That's part of my goal is, that's why we wear name tags. That's why, I want people to, be comfortable with, the guy that lives down on State Street that he's never met. But now all of a sudden he's got a common interest, And one of the things is, I've always told this to Joe, I'm not a wealthy man, so I can't, do this on my own without sponsorship. And so, Joe, we were talking about this off air, I always go to Joe some way or another. So him and Haji this year, they always do. Every time I ask, it's a no-brainer. They provided, 12 dozen, donuts, which, believe it or not, there was only 1 dozen left, and I got to take it home. Well, hey. And believe me, I ate it all, me and the dog.
Now, you had a relative in on that also.
Well, and that's right, Lori Page, which is my cousin, Bees Landscaping. From the beginning, she has always said, hey, I'll pay for the donuts. That's my contribution to helping with the community. Same way with Heather over at Flossie's. From the beginning, the first one, I went to her and said, hey, I need coffee. You got the best coffee in town. I need coffee. I need cream. I need cups. And she's like, I got you. Anytime you need it, let me know. So, third time going to her, So that covers a breakfast. We need garbage bags. We need buses. We need, I personally think that if you're going to go out and do this, you're going to get hungry and you're going to want to be fed later. So so I went to Grau Chevrolet this year and talked to Chris and said, hey, I need a sponsor for that. Would you help me? He goes, I got you. First National Bank of Tremont, she called me and said, hey, what can we do? We're going to bring a team to help clean up, but what can we do? So, she helped. Adam Cheatham, he's got a mowing service, he said, I got a truck, I got a trailer, and I got a little cash. What can I do to help? And he was there helping. Community Action is always there for me. They provide a bus. CJ's Party Rental, he's been there from day one.
Just saw him this morning.
Those are, they turned into buddies. Yeah. We didn't know each other from Adam. And I'd done the first cleanup, and now we're buddies. Rod is always there as far as a driver. So, it takes a lot. Mm-hmm. People don't realize the behind the scenes, what it takes to put on a cleanup, and then to have the weather ruin it, as I thought when I got in my car. But then later, you look at it and you go, well, we did okay, and it seemed stressful at the time, it seemed bad, but, we got 100 bags of garbage off the street. We cleaned up a lot of stuff that wouldn't normally get cleaned up, period, so.
Now, is it usually the same date you shoot for year in, year out?
I'm a little bit of a tree hugger.
Well, let's...
So, I always try and go around Earth Day, and I think I'm going to switch it to May.
Move it back to May.
Make it July.
Maybe part of this is my own problem, Joe.
Yeah, make it...
We're not going to tell you have a problem because you're doing something.
Right, yeah, we're not...
Always seems to rain or we had snow. For God's sake, in April.
Yeah, but that's tough. And if it gets too hot, nobody's going to come.
I want to say also Vertex, Bob Morrow. I don't know if you guys know Bob or not, but from the first one, he gets his whole family together. These are the Robinses. There's 20 kids in the Robbins family, so there's a lot of folks. But Bob gets his family together. There's 8 or 9 of them, and they get T-shirts. So every year they have a new T-shirt, that has something to do with the cleanup, which I think it's worth mentioning. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I told you about the high school honor kids. George Leverton, he was a new sponsor this year with Leverton Auctions, and he bought the gloves, which. You got to have gloves, you got to
have gloves.
Kind of a sad note, but the chief of police called me or pulled me aside and said, hey, you need to put together some kind of package in case you find needles. And I'm like, I never even thought of it.
Yeah.
I don't even think about things like that because that's not my world.
I would have not thought of that.
But you know what? That's his job. And we didn't find any, thank God. I mean, so it's just something that's new that we had to talk about this year that I never thought that we'd ever have to talk about.
So where'd you isolate? Do you do different sections? Is that what you're going to every year?
We do six. No. Try and do the same sections because those are really the high impact garbage areas. Steak and Shake. That road in general has and I don't know if it's because that's where our food is, and that's where the garbage cans are, because a lot of that is blown garbage. Sure. But man, there's a lot of it. You know? So we do Steak and Shake. Where the pot plant is, which those are my people. That was
his people.
Those are my people. I love them. I love every one of them. Thank God they're in town. You know, they keep my life a lot better. So we wanted to make sure we cleaned up their area. You know, but just another side note on that, they pay their people to volunteer.
Really?
Yeah, and not just for my stuff, but for anything that they want to volunteer in the community, they'll pay them. How great is that? You know,
it's unheard of.
It's unheard of. Cool. So we had people from there, you know, but we go out there, and if it's a highway and it's coming into Lincoln, I'm trying to clean that. But you know, like I said, we did College and First Street. We do Stringer Avenue. We do State Street down in Broadwell Drive. That's really a bad area because it's hidden. And that's where you really have the people just
you wind around that curve and
right around that curve, and so we have an area, you know, that we have, and so this year we had 4 buses. Normally we have 6. You know, we could do 4. 4 was perfect. You know, but there was a lot of people that also drove on their own. You know what I mean? So
excellent. We know, and it's for the community. It's awesome.
Well, and that's why we do it. We do it so the people in the community. Here's what I want. Here's my goal. I want you to look at the garbage the same way I look at the garbage. You know, once you see it, you can't unsee it. That's the thing that I was taught, you know, whenever I was driving around. I'm like, man, I got to do something about that. And it wasn't so much that, I want to be a superhero. I just wanted to do something and Jacob, true story, Jacob pushed me because I was like, I ain't doing that. I'm not that guy. He goes, yeah, you are. I'm like, no, I'm really not. But he wanted to do something with his camera, and he couldn't do it himself because he's more of a producer than somebody out front. And he goes, I need you to do it. And I'm like, all right, let's do it.
You were a star. I watched it. You were a star in that video.
I
like Billy Jack walking around.
I felt like Billy Jack. I wanted to get my own stick.
I think you should have that stick when you're in charge.
I got one of them walking sticks.
Get over here. Get over here.
As you can tell by my physique, I don't do a lot of walking anymore.
Well, why wouldn't you?
Hey, I want to switch gears if we can, because I know we don't have a lot of time. I want to talk about the Logan County Shriners. I've been lucky enough to where they voted me in as president this year, and I really want Logan County to understand that we are an organization for good. We support children. I'll get into maybe a little bit of it if you don't mind. There's 2 hospitals. There's one in St. Louis and there's one in Chicago that we support. And our temple is in Springfield. There's about 2,100 Shriners at the Ansar Temple. And so we're just a club. And each county has their own club. And so I'm really trying to get this club, the Shriners, more of a face. So you're going to start seeing, hopefully, a lot more of the Shriners around Lincoln, and purposely designed. I mean, we have clowns, we have those funny cars. Yeah. We have all those things that we have a horse. I don't even know what they call themselves, the Cowboys. But these are all different clubs. And I'm going to try, I'm part of the Honor Guard over there. So I do a lot. So we do a lot of parades. So I'm going to try and get our parades to where you'll see just as many Shriners as I can possibly get in there. You know, we always have our great big flag that we carry. But I'm going to try and get the Honor Guard over, or the Legion of Honor. We call ourselves the Legion. I'm part of the Honor Guard out at the Legion also because I'm a veteran. But that's a different story. But the Shriners, I'm telling you, I really want, and I'm always recruiting. You know, we're going to have 5 new members go in June, thankfully, or hopefully. But you know, my goal is to try and get as many young people, and when I say young people, people my age, because I mean it's an organization that's predominantly, it used to be huge and still huge, but it used to be huge as far as just that's what you did. You know, my father was a Shriner, my father was a Mason, and you know, my son Bentley, he was a Shriner baby. You know, he had club feet. He was, the 3rd day he was born, he was in Shriner Hospital in St. Louis.
I was going to say, for those that don't know, that are listening or watching, tell them some of the things the Shriners do.
Oh, so what the Shriners do is they're 100% children orientated. We have several hospitals around the country. There's the Shriners are in every state. So if, let's just use for an example that a child's born or a child has a cleft palate, a child has club feet. The Chicago hospital does burns, you know, to a degree. But once you're, so I'll use Bentley's for an example. Bentley was born in Decatur. Within minutes, you know, they're like, okay, he's got club feet. Who's the best surgeon that we're gonna, you know, get with? Because they wanted to calm us down. We were super young parents at the time, you know. We didn't know anything about, you know, and they didn't have, you know, in today's hospitals, they can see that from the womb.
Technology.
They didn't have that technology then. Well, they may have, but we didn't have access to it. So, you know, from day one, you know, the Shriners came to our house and said, hey, we're going to interview you. So, you know, 2 days later, we're driving down to St. Louis. We're in the hospital, and, you know, they do what they do. Bentley ended up having 16 or 17 surgeries.
Wow.
On his feet. Once you're in, you're there until you're 18. So everything that Bentley had went through the Shriners Hospital, which was, so we ended up, it was incredible.
Sure.
And there was no charge. Mm-hmm. No, and that's the thing that's amazing. I mean, my wife at the time and I, we both had decent jobs to where we didn't need transportation. We didn't need help with housing. We didn't need help to eat, you know, but that's all available through the Shriners. That's where our money goes. I mean, if you go over to IGA today and buy a sandwich for $5, we're going to get a little bit of that money. That money is going to go to the St. Louis Hospital probably within a month or so. You know what I mean? Because the Logan County Shriners are going to donate that money. So, yeah, you know, that's what I want to make sure people in Lincoln know, is that your money is going to a great cause. It's not going to some CEO that makes, you know, $17 million a year, because every one of us Shriners are volunteers. You know, even the presidents, we call them the potentate, you know. And so it's a great organization. And I just wanted to give a big shout out.
Throw the sales out. You got IGA going on today.
So we got IGA. As soon as I leave here, we're going to go cook some steak sandwiches. And then we got the pork chop sandwich, which, you know, Corey and Charlie do a great job. They provide everything. We just show up and cook. And as a chubby little fellow, I like to cook. I like to eat.
Hey.
You know, we were talking earlier. I'm probably going to eat a couple of them, that's for sure.
I'm hoping you're not getting into the profits over there.
Well, I always have to pay too, Joe.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing for free in this world. Ain't no free steak sandwiches. You got to eat or you got to pay for them.
There's nothing free in
Nothing
this world.
free. But yeah, thanks for letting me share that with you guys.
Hey,
that's something I'm super proud of. Super proud to be a Shriner. Super proud to be a Mason. We were talking about the Legion and the Veterans. The Veterans organization is doing great. Joe's a part of that also.
I missed the last breakfast to cook, though. Yes.
We got the tiny houses going up,
right?
Which is Joe is in charge of those, and he does a phenomenal job. He's part of the honor guard. There's, our commander's 90 years old. 90 years old. Bob Sullivan is one of the greatest guys you'll ever meet. He's about 5 foot nothing, and
You better hope he's not listening.
Oh, I hope he is. Gotta hope he is. I had here's one thing that I'll share with you that I think is one of the reasons why I do what I do. I had a guy, I was working yesterday at the Foxhole, and I'm a bartender, and
you don't have the personality for it.
I know. I'm kind of shy, quiet fella.
Yeah, I don't know how you pull it off.
I don't say much. Out of the blue, I got this veteran who's serving in the service. He's an Iraqi war veteran. He moved to Lincoln a year ago, and he said, "Hey, I heard your name, and I want to come introduce myself, and I want to find out how do I start a 5K in Lincoln to help build the veterans' homes." How cool is that? I mean, how cool is that?
You're probably very knowledgeable about 5Ks.
As you can tell.
Again, what's 5,000 is.
As you can tell. I don't even know if I have a decent pair of tennis shoes. I couldn't even spell 5K. And I've never put together a 5K, but here's what I did. I recruited, a guy to be on the honor guard. And I don't know if people know what the honor guard does in Lincoln, but at the Legion, there's a group of probably 20 of us. And any veteran that passes away, we do the 21 gun salute for their funerals. And we mainly stay in Logan County, but we will go to Springfield to the place over there.
Camp Butler?
Camp Butler, thank you. And, to me, that's one of the best things that I've ever done for myself in giving back to the community is that.
Sure.
And it's one of the things I love doing, just because every person that has a parent or a grandparent or a son or a daughter that passes away that's a veteran, they're very appreciative, that we're out there. And we've man, I'm telling you, there was this one time, kind of a side story. It's raining. It was this last year. It was in February. And it was kind of a mild winter. Not this day.
Well, you picked the days.
Man, it was just pouring down rain. And we had a gabby little Catholic priest, he was just talking about everything, and we were all standing out there with our guns, and we were like, man, this guy's got to hurry up. It was freezing. That was the only time I went, man, I don't know what I'm doing.
This is brutal.
It was brutal.
Yeah.
That's
well,
good
man,
stuff.
I feel like we should be contributing more, Joe. After
absolutely
talking to Mr. Turner here, boy, I just feel.
You guys do contribute. You got the cheap seats.
Well,
cheap seats. We got
cheap seats. And Joe, God, thank God he's wealthy.
I know.
I love having rich friends.
Deep pockets. Yeah,
I got him.
He's got him all right.
Lots of dough.
Well, we know you're an avid Bear fan, and you've probably been watching a little bit of the draft past couple of nights. How are your thoughts? I mean, the Bears, they've got several picks, which we've never been in that position before the past few years because of trades and stuff like that. But kind of shocking on some of these moves. I mean, not that I know anything about it. And the Bears, they do their due diligence and do all the research on these kids. And how you feeling about the draft so far?
I really loved our first pick because I think that our quarterback. If you take a look, and this is just, me being an old Lincoln Railer football, Al Bundy. You can call me Al Bundy right now because I was an old Lincoln Railer football player. Loved playing football. but you got to protect the quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
Period. And we got a good one.
Yeah.
You know, it looks like what we're doing is we're going to build a team around this guy. And I think we should. It's been years coming. I think the Bears have more quarterbacks in their history than any team.
Oh, yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
I mean, every 2
Cardinals
years.
are pretty close, bud.
Cardinals, yeah, are they still a team, Joe? I didn't even know they were still playing.
We won't know till
I
August,
thought,
September.
I thought maybe they got knocked down to their old third seat. And we,
Yeah,
but you know, the other, we need so many positions.
Right.
You can't go wrong.
Right.
You know, I mean, you gotta, and this
Well, that's the problem, though, with the Bears for the last
35 years.
decade. In the first round, they have went wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, they really have.
Yeah.
But this year, I think they made.
Yeah.
I think they made the best move possible. And I think they
it's
got the
been
best guy for
Yeah,
that.
and,
I do too.
And you know, kind of looking beyond, they've really set themselves up for next draft too. They're gonna have 2 first-round picks next year, and depending on where the Bears and the Panthers where they finish next season, that could be huge too. So they're putting in young guys now, filling in these little pieces, and then
Just hope they keep them.
yeah,
You know, and because listen, here's the thing. On Sunday, we don't have to win every game, but boy, it sure is disheartening when you're 2 minutes into the game and it's like, man, we look terrible.
Yeah.
You know, and that's. I guess that's part of rebuilding, you know what I mean? But man, as a Bear fan, and I'll never be anything else. I'll always be a Bear fan my whole life.
win or lose, yeah,
Win or lose,
absolutely.
it don't matter. I mean, you know, I watched the last game last year and went, man, thank God this season's over.
Yeah.
You know, but I sure like what I saw, you know, out of our quarterback. I sure like what I saw out of our defense. Our defense doesn't look bad.
Yeah.
I think
got a call?
special
We
teams.
have a caller? Oh, right. Well,
we got a caller.
We have a caller. So let's see who we're talking to this morning. Good morning.
This is Joe Hackett.
Joe Hackett.
Jumping Joe Hackett. How
Yeah.
you doing, Joseph?
You want to?
You know, Scott's really a nice young man.
Thanks, Joe.
He said young too. So
Yeah, he
that
did.
Feels, it makes
Check in the mail.
He
Joe.
gets a double thanks. Well, yeah, I called my mom last night and said, hey, I'm going to be on the radio. I need your help.
she paid Joe.
She probably did call Joe and say, Joe, I got an extra cup of coffee in this one for you.
Thanks, Norma.
How's Joe doing?
Turners are all good people.
Thank you, sir. You're a good man yourself.
You take care. Good luck with all the stuff you're doing, Scott. I love you.
Thank you, buddy. I love you back. Have a great Saturday.
Yep.
That was the shortest call from Joe
ever.
Yeah,
ever.
he just hung up.
You know, you're talking about a guy that's done a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Hackett has done a lot for
Every community.
Every community in Logan County, and everybody that knows his name knows Joe, and he's a good fella.
Hey, as we
you know,
end this-
another guy I think that's really good that I want to throw it. Spud Newhouse.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know if
Spud's
you guys
around.
know Spud or not, but
Sure.
Spud is like one of those guys I inspire to be. He's in his late 70s, but he volunteers for everything. He was a marshal for the parade last year. But I mean, case in point, he's over cooking today. He was the first volunteer when I put out on the thread, hey, I need volunteers for tomorrow to cook at the IGA. And I know we just did it last Saturday, but I need you to step up and do it again. And he's like, I'm in. So I want to give Spud a big shout out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's what it's all about.
And I want to give out Lincoln baseball a shout. They beat Metamora last night. We got Coach Momman sending us some info just so you can get
There
out
we
there
go.
maybe today.
Absolutely.
Baseball, they beat Metamora last night, 12-5. Metamora, a good baseball school, and they play Mount Zion at home today at 10 and 12. So get out there and watch some Raider baseball. Grab a ribeye sandwich.
Yeah.
Go out to the baseball field. I don't know, maybe they're selling them too, but grab one up here and then get another one out there.
Yeah.
How late you there? From 10 to
around 1:30-ish.
Okay.
We try and close it up by 2, but usually it's all done by 1:30.
Yeah.
Baseball 11-8 this year. They've moved into that winning record. So
Absolutely.
And it looks
Get
great
hot
out there.
tournament time.
They've done a lot of nice stuff.
Looks nice out
It looks
there.
great.
Looks real nice.
Modern.
Baseball's on its way.
It's real modern.
Yeah. Well, Scott, it's 10 o'clock, and we got to thank you because, I mean, We love having guests like you.
Well, thank you guys for having me. You guys are awesome.
We like people on that talk.
Yeah.
I do like to chit-chat. I'm a little bit of a gabber.
Well, let's get you on early next year where we can...
we'll do it 2 years, every other year. But maybe next year we'll have a something else. Maybe we'll get on whenever we have the gardens, because I'm going to try and push that.
Well, we'll
I'll be asking Joe for some money, that's for sure.
Yeah, we'll stay in touch with you, and then any upcoming events that you have going on, we'll be more than happy to have you come on and promote them. So.
Sounds wonderful. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, that's going to do it for us today here at the Quad. Next week, it's going to be warmer, hopefully somewhere.
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 Yeah, somewhere.
Maybe.
Where are we at next week? We're at the high school next week.
Allegedly.
So, all right. Thanks for tuning in for the Cheap Seats.
Yeah.
WLCN 96.3 FM.
The preceding program is a presentation of WLCN 96.3 FM and WLCNonline.com.